went in here. I'm not sure if they got married here or not, but they came in here, and Wayne was giving his tour and everything, and there was a woman with the bridal party, and all of a sudden she goes and she walks off towards that corner. She goes and stands in the corner for a little bit, probably about 5-10 minutes, if that, maybe not 5-10 minutes, but while Wayne, the whole time Wayne was speaking, she was over standing in that corner. She came back over, joined the group. They're like, why were you in the corner? She's like, what do you mean? They're like, you were just standing in the corner. She's like, no, I wasn't. I've been here the whole time. She had no idea that she walked over to that corner or that she was even gone from the group. She couldn't explain it. All I know is that she couldn't stay at the fort. She had to leave because it freaked her out so bad. There's also the unknown tour guide, which lives in here. I don't know where, but one time during the day, somebody came in, and you're free to roam the fort as a self-guided tour during the day. And somebody came in here, and they came out, and they're like, wow, that was the best, you gave me so much information. Wayne's like, there's nobody in there. He's like, yeah, there's a tour guide in there. He gave me all kinds of information. There was nobody in here. There was no tour guides working that day. For some reason, everybody has a fascination with that back wall. I don't know why. There was another time we gave a tour, and it was a bunch of blind kids, and they were blind from birth. And they came in, they felt their way around the walls and everything, and a couple of them went back to that back wall, about 5 of them, and they put their hands on the wall, and they're like, this wall feels hollow. I don't know how you would feel if a wall feels hollow, but I mean, they were blind, they couldn't see it, they don't know what's on the other side. But indeed they were correct though, because there is a hollow. If you look in that doorway, there's a little slit. You can reach your hand in there. There's a little space, a gap that goes all the way around the powder magazine. It was to prevent condensation because they didn't want anything contaminating gunpowder. But that's why people get a sense about that wall. These kids knew there was something with that wall. So you'll see some of our evidence from in here as well when we do our lecture. But for some reason that wall's active. I don't know why. I don't feel anything with the wall, but you may all feel something wall. I know that I've had things, I've had equipment set up on these barrels. They've either moved, shut off. I always get battery drain in here. I don't know what it is, but I've had the barrels move. You'll get a lot of orbs in here, but it is dusty. Other than that, powder magazine's great. I've had a couple people see soldiers standing in this doorway. There's pictures of it. It's great. You guys are going to be allowed up there tonight. If they do let you up, we'll probably tell you to use those stairs over there just so nobody messes with Wayne's satellite dish. This is the officers' quarters. This is where the officers stayed with their families. Each one, this whole section, they each had one of their own. This is the famous story of the screaming woman, Elizabeth Pratt. Elizabeth Pratt, the story goes is that she got in a fight with her daughter because her daughter was running off to marry an enlisted man. And back then that was known as marrying down. That was, you're supposed to go up, not down. So they never got a chance to reconcile, and her daughter died of some type of fever back then, typhoid, yellow, whatever, nobody knows for sure. So they said that she was so distraught over the death of her daughter and that she never got to reconcile, is that she came screaming out those doors and hung herself over this railing right here. I know people that see people walking up there, and I'll get to more of the stories when we get inside. Probably the only place you won't be allowed tonight is up there, because that's where Wayne lives. He lives down there at the end.
Who did that?
So anyway, this is the back of Elizabeth's house. And now, like I told you in the beginning of the tour, Wayne is very skeptical. He doesn't believe anything unless he experiences it himself or he hears it from somebody very credible. He was back here and he was using a gas-powered weed whacker. And all of a sudden, he heard a woman scream at the top of her lungs in his ear while using the gas-powered weed whacker. And he's like, what was that? And he thought he was going nuts. So he starts weed whacking again. He heard it again, and it was loud. A couple days later, he looked up in that window right there, which is in Elizabeth's room. And there was a whole bunch of flies, like hundreds of flies just hanging around that window. He's like, oh, I probably got something, a dead bird up there. So he went out and he bought a couple bombs. He went in the next day, to go bomb the room to get rid of the flies. Went back in, there were no flies. There were no dead flies, there were no live flies. Don't know where the flies went. If you do get a chance to go up there tonight, you want to pay attention to the back room back up here. That room is very active, especially the closet. I'll just let you guys experience that for your own. I've had many personal experiences up there. Too many to tell. It's very active in that back room, I'll tell you that. In the front room as well, and as well as down here. And back here, you're welcome to come out, check out here, see if you can hear anybody screaming. That type of thing. And, you know, they'd have somebody sitting here telling the story of Elizabeth Pratt, and somebody comes screaming at the top of their lungs out of the closet, scare the crap out of everybody. Well, while they're sitting here, the two actors, they're waiting for their next tour to come through. They noticed, I forget which, I don't know what it is, I think it was the lamp. They saw it levitate off of this. It was in the air, levitated. Now, of course, like I said, when they told Wayne the story, he's like, yeah, okay. There was another time that two reporters decided to stay here. I guess it was some sort of radio stunt. And Lorraine put them up in that back sally port I was telling you about because they wanted to stay in the most active part of the fort. Well, they came in here and they put a tape recorder in here. Just your old standard, you know, analog tape recorder. And when they came back in the morning, it was flipped upside down. Nobody else was here in the entire fort. They left as soon as they picked up their tape recorder. And they left the fort and they got their scare. So there's a couple different things that have happened in here. I know that in the other room, it's just an empty room right next to here. That's also Elizabeth's room, the house part of it. Her room, I believe, is the one upstairs, but that's where I've had the doors open. Things happen in there all the time as well.
Now, is this all original furniture?
I believe most of it's just replica.
Okay.
Okay.